Oh yeah, what's up YouTube? TeeP back here. Tips with TeeP, finishing up these hard points. Last one is going to be on Breach. Going to be explaining how the flow of the map is supposed to go, how to rotate to hills properly, how to play kills properly off of rotation, and sort of the step-by-step process if you're having troubles breaking hills as well. This is a unique hardpoint map, and most of these hills are extremely enclosed, very tight areas to try and break from. Most of the time, if you get initial control of the hill, if you have a proper setup, there's really not much the other team can do in order to break unless specialist play comes into effect. So, this first hill is pretty straightforward. It's all about your sub players. I'd highly recommend 3 sub players, maybe even 4 on this first, and it's all about breaking into this middle box, winning those intro kills, and then posting up inside. You can easily just strafe these doorways with a sub, with stock on, and just gotta win these gunfights straight away. You want your assault rifle player playing the power spots. The traditional power spots on Breach are straightforward. Top AC, top hut, top broken. If you get that initial first wave of kills on this first hardpoint, and you don't see anything pushing towards bottom broken, that means they're going to be flanking from whatever side you're looking at. Let's say if you don't see anything bottom or top lab, you don't see anything bottom or top broken, they're going to be flanking around palace or bricks. Most of the time they will do the bricks flank, but if it's on a rotation, the later seconds of the hill, they might be starting to think to hit around palace, depending on what side they are on. Straightforward, trying to get as much time. A little bit can be scrappy on that middle box sometimes with the low raw wards coming into play as well. But do as much as you can, and rotation is very, very important for the second hardpoint in this back area right here. If you're able to retain the back spawns on this hardpoint, you're going to be able to net a lot of time. If you get intro kills and intro time on this hill, you have 2 doorways to watch. They're either going to be spawning out front green or at back palace, trying to contest from side door lab, back door lab, or from the front bricks over here. The reason these hills are so hard to break is there's 2 doorways. It's pretty straightforward. If you have multiple people stacked in this hill and all you have to do is strafe a little doorway and you have trophies inside, the other team has to try and slide in, make a crazy play, and pop multiple kills when multiple people are shooting at them. If you're able to post up properly and communicate effectively to which door you should be watching at a given time, you should be easily able to hold these 2 doorways and net yourself a lot of time on this hardpoint. Rotating to this back lab off of that first hill is extremely important, and put the priority on this hill over the middle hill when it comes to that rotation I'm talking about. A lot more guaranteed time off of this hill compared to the middle hill, so make sure you prioritize things correctly. If you're holding the later seconds of this hill, making sure you're getting a nice lead, you have time to work with. If you do well contesting that first hard point and you do well getting most of the time on this hard point, you're going to have time to work with, and you need to take your time to try and break. The rotation to the next hill is at that palace right there, the one I just switched from. How you want to try and rotate is try and pick a side or set up a pinch. When you're on rotation here holding the later seconds, a lot of pro teams screw this up and try and fight a gunfight when they're going to be down in numbers. If the other team gave up time at the last hill, that means they're going to put their full efforts into getting intro time at next. A lot of times I'll see people try and rotate, especially with a sub, and try and make a crazy play, whether it's from wall running, trying to slide in, and get kills on players that are completely set up on him and have the numbers. You want to try and take your time and work the map. By working the map, I mean clearing out areas, making sure you're trying to catch someone off guard, because that's what you need to try and do on rotation. If they are rotating first, they're ready for you. Again, this palace is a very enclosed area. There's 3 doorways to watch. Couches, middle, and gen side, no man's, whatever you want to call it. And then I guess it's like 3.5 lanes with the wall run. Multiple people can watch multiple things on this map though, or on this hill, and you need to make sure you find out where the other team is pushing from when you're trying to hold. If you're trying to break, I highly recommend setting up a pinch. Sending one player all the way around broken, making sure that that player stays alive, because every kill that happens when that player is over there will block this gen spawn, the highly preferred spawn for this hill. Once you set up the pinch and that player is ready to block the spawn, then you can go ahead and play an aggressive as you want, flooding in from couches, wall run, middle. Every kill you get will force the other team to spawn out due to the pinch you have set up. That player that is pinching though needs to do the best job possible, staying alive, making sure that he actually is blocking that spawn. Otherwise the pinch will be basically useless and a waste of time. If you're able to break in and you're holding, Very straightforward. You can watch the cross from right here. You can see them crossing from gens. You have an AR player. This is a popular spot here, just crouching behind the desk, watching middle. Or just a player in this corner with an AR watching over like this, the push into couches. One player can be watching the wall run from over here as well. This is a very popular head glitch. Pretty straightforward to hold on most of these hills because it's a couple doorways to watch. You figure out where they're trying to get a coordinated push from, and you shut it down as best as you can. Next, I'm going to talk about the rotation from Palace to the Green Hill. Most of the time, you're going to try and work as a team, work the back over here, and clear out these players at the back AC and back double doors. Most of the time, if they're on rotation and it's sort of a scrappy situation, they'll probably just be waiting at bottom broken at this statue, which is a very popular spot. If you work this guy out of this position and kill him, you have free reign to run to the wall run at green, flood bottom broken through this door, or do whatever you need to do. Use your specialist. This might be around that time you will be earning those. So work the back and try and get this spawn. The best spawn for this hill is at the back double doors right here. If you're able to get it, you're going to spawn much closer than the other team and have much more chances to fight into the hill. However, again, this hill is very hard to break from. If you have intro time, you're most likely going to get at least half of it. There's two doorways to watch. Bottom broken, front green, and the top window. It's very easy to post up in here with a sub, strafe this, and they're going to be forced to push in, whether it's sliding, specialists, or etc. Again, if you're playing in here, you can easily see the shadows from players while running to top green from the backside as well. So even though you might not have spawns for this hill, if you get multiple people stacked into bottom and or top green, there's really not much for the other team to do because you're pre-aiming a lane. You're going to have the advantage. You're going to be ready for them, know exactly where they're coming from, and they're not going to know exactly where you are inside the hill. You have the advantage. Be ready for specialists, though. If you see a player sliding in, be ready for a kinetic or a heat wave or a camo play because this is around the hill that those specialists will start to pop. Try and get intro time, though. Rotate into the hill if you don't have spawn. If you do have spawn, get a coordinated push and try and use your specialist abilities to work them out of the hill one by one and eventually flood and break once you get the numbers. Straightforward hills to hold on this map, and that's why you see a lot of comebacks and fluctuating score lines happen. Intro time to intro time can get you a lot of points on back-to-back hills on this map, and that's really what you need to focus on. After holding green, you want to try and focus on the rotation to lab, and this is one of the most difficult rotations on the map. It's very, very difficult to try and rotate towards this left side because that's going to be their main look. If they get an AR player posted up in second hardpoint, AC right here, or at the side door head glitch, what I just shot at, it's going to be very tough for you to come around this corner and work these players out of their spots when they're going to be ready for you completely. What I would recommend is trying to work either middle to Palace. Basically, the main priority is to get AC control. Step 1, work up and get AC control so you can get a closer spawn. If you don't get to AC, you're going to keep spawning out at middle or broken, and it's going to take you way too long to try and get coordinated pushes to try and break. This is one of the most difficult hills to break because, again, 3 doorways. Side door, back door, front door, and then 3.5 if you count the AC steps. But it's very, very straightforward. Most teams won't be pushing for more than 2 areas at once unless one player got a weird spawn. So anyways, if you're trying to break, you got to work to AC. From then on, it depends on a lot of things. If you have specialists, you can play a little bit more aggressive. But the most of the time, you're going to work the back together to try and get this backdoor spawn blocked from the other team. The other team may know you're pushing this from this side, though, and shift their setup in the hill to watch the back and side doors. But if you're able to obtain this back spawn, again, you're going to spawn closer and have more attempts to try and break them out. If you're able to get intro time, though, you're going to have specialists to use at this point, whether it's a purifier, heat wave, kinetic, if you didn't use them at green. So use these to your advantage on this hill. And once you get inside, it's very, very easy to hold because it's going to come down to communication and minimap awareness to find out where the other team is spawning off of kills and find out where they're trying to coordinate a push from. Very easy to pre-aim these side doors, the front door as well, especially with some machine guns with stock. You can peek around, and once again, you have the full advantage. I'm not a huge fan of this map due to this reasoning. The hills are in such enclosed areas that most of the time that team that gets intro kills are going to have the advantage. They have trophies. There really is not much, especially with Ban Protect. Get rid of the tacticals and nades. There's really not much for the team to do to try and break in. if you're getting the later seconds of this lab hill right here, you need to focus on the rotation to the next hill, which is middle. I prefer the lab side completely for this map, so it's sort of a snowball in my opinion. But if you're holding the later seconds of lab, they are going to be most likely set up in this next hill, trying to get the intro time on next. So, again, this map is largely based on intro time. If you're able to get inside of the hill with multiple people before they do, you're most likely going to get the majority of the time on the hill, no matter what the spawns are. Sometimes you can sort of abandon the strategy to get spawns and just play intro time on each of the hills and try and hold for as long as possible, even though you might not have the preferred spawn for the hill. Anyways, the normal setup going from lab to the middle hill is one player posted up here watching AC, the hop up, the steps, and bottom lab. Want a player in the hill, obviously, watching them. Could be wall running as well. It's very popular. And then other players just trying to figure out where the other team will be flanking from. Whether it's front broken, playing the head glitches, top broken. Most of the time, when you're on the intro of this middle hill, you want to focus on taking a side so that you don't have to worry about watching multiple things. If the hill player is unsure where the other team is going to be pushing from, whether it's his front door or back door, that's going to create problems. Try and obtain a side for yourself on the first half of the hill, and it should go much better for you. Get inside the hills on this map, focus on intro time, and just stack in, focus the doorways. Most of the hills are very close. There's only a couple doorways to look. Coordinate with your team and use your specialists in tense situations to try and get as much time as you can. Straightforward map, very easy to hold the hills, very tough to break. Flood, prioritize spawns, have a game plan with you and your teammates, do something together, and hopefully what I'm saying is helping you out a little bit. If you enjoyed, leave a like. More tips with TeeP coming up soon, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace out, friends.